Hello, everyone. This is Social K with the brand new YouTube channel, Real Talk with Social K. Today, we're going to talk about how I learned to use AI without getting overwhelmed. And it's one of those things that I think that people seem to get paranoid about AI technology taking over the world and all of that. I don't get into the paranoia the of AI, but I like to try to use it and learn as much as I can about it and how to use it to my own benefit. Most people think using AI is complicated, but it's actually a lot simpler once you understand how to use it and how to talk to it. If you ever used voice assistant AI models, such as Microsoft's Cortana, Apple Siri, or Amazon's Alexa to ask a question or get certain information, then you should be comfortable using an AI's chat model to do similar things. But wait, those AI chat models are totally different and a very primitive technology compared to today's models, such as Google's Gemini, OpenAI's ChatGPT, and Copilot, the latter used by Microsoft, and other similar models that use deep learning rather than just simple voice recognition and natural language processing for small or task-specific technologies. Um, I enjoy new technology and I embrace it whenever becomes available. So I've always been a fan of computers and the capabilities of computers ever since the early 80s, my first computer and all that good stuff. I ain't going to get into all that detail right now, but just know that I'm a fan of technology. I learned how to use I learned how to use AI to my own benefit, and like I said, I don't worry much about the negative side of things. I just stay aware of a lot of negative things, but I don't dwell on the negative, or do I stay paranoid and refuse technology because of something I may be apprehensive about? Uh, I learn to use it in ways that benefit me. And if you're the type, uh, if you type or say something vague, then you get a vague answer. If you type or say something clear and concise, you get a clear and concise response in return. But over time, you realize AI isn't about being technical; it's about being clear. The clearer your question, the better the response. Once that clicks, everything else becomes easier. AI just wants to have a conversation. It wants you to have a conversation with it, and I find that conversing with AI is almost better than talking to most humans that I know. Oh, we talk to pets sometimes, we talk to ourselves, but if you want a response, then talk to an AI model. There's all these different models of AI out there, and some people I think get it confused. I think that all the AI is Chat GTP, and that's not true. Chat GTP is its own model, and all the other models that you see are individual uh, models, AI models that are out there, and you can't or should not get them confused. ChatGTP is one model. Copilot uses OpenAI model. Um, Gemini uses Google's model, and Claude uses Anthropic's model. They're they are all large language models, but they're not one and the same. They're not all based on ChatGTP. They're not all ChatGTP. But it's cool because AI can teach you how to use itself, and can indeed teach you things that are technical, mechanical, or physical. I'll give you an example here. One thing that I learned about AI is that, I thought that one model fits all. I thought that all the AI that's out there pretty much work the same, and it does the same thing, from one model to the next. And I realized that, or at least, Copilot taught me differently. Told me that each type of model that's out there has a specific role that it plays. So, say for instance, there's a Copilot for Visual Studio, which is in GitHub. There's a Copilot for your web browser. There's Gemini for your Android phone. There's, and I thought that all of these pretty much done the same thing. So if I use GitHub's Copilot for chatting or whatever, or coding, it it is specifically geared for coding, and it does a very good job of doing what it's designed to do. I can go to Copilot in Windows and try to have it, create a code for me, a program or whatever, and it does fairly decent, but nothing compared to the AI model that is in GitHub, Visual Studio. And I was under the impression that they both pretty much work the same thing. Well, that doesn't. Nope, not even close. Um, I thought that, okay, Copilot 365, and the Windows Copilot that's on my PC, I thought that pretty much worked the same. Well, they work similar. They can do similar functions, but 365 goes deeper into the actual Microsoft apps, and does some amazing things that your native Copilot on Windows can't do, or just doesn't do efficiently. Um, and of course, there's all these other different models of AI that are out there that can do some really amazing things. Um, One thing that I also learned is that you can install, which I've installed some AI models such as Oyama or LM Studio, and they reside on the computer. They don't have to utilize the internet or the cloud or anything like that. Also, don't have to rebuild a computer with an NPU processor. And graphics card does a very good job of handling AI processes very well. That's another good thing that I've learned about AI. And there's so many things that I have yet to learn about AI. But one of my experiences that I use AI for. I use Copilot for everything, and it gives me great feedback. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who think that, or believe that, AI is going to ruin everything and this, that, and the other, whatever. Okay. But AI is not perfect. Nothing in life is perfect, 100%, none of that. There's always a flaw in this law. And that's why having general knowledge of things, hence going to school and getting a general education helps, learning how to read and write, practicing your comprehension skills, understanding how to research and follow up instead of just relying on the first thing that someone says, or in this case, AI says, unless it could be confirmed elsewhere. For example, I once asked Copilot about Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, who is one of the most influential figures in American music, creative force behind the Beach Boys, and widely regarded as one of the greatest songwriters and producers of the 20th century. He passed away last year, around June 11th, 2025. I wasn't sure of when he passed at the time I asked Copilot, and oh my, Copilot responded that Brian Wilson was still alive and well. Me and Copilot got into a huge argument, and it told me that my three primitive ape-like brain cells were far less inferior to the large pool of data that it pulled from for this information. So I took my gorilla knuckles and punched into Wikipedia and pasted the information to Copilot, and it responded with sincere regret and apologized for It's arrogance and ignorance. With that, it noted for future reference to Brian Wilson that he is no longer with us. That is an example of how to use your common sense when it comes to people and AI. If it doesn't make sense, then you have to make it make sense. Sometimes it could be wrong, and you just got to know what you know. And if you don't know, then you won't know. So the practical takeaway from all of this is if you're new to AI, start simple. Just have a conversation with Copilot or whatever AI model that you have and, feed off of each other, I know sometimes it's hard to do. Some people don't like talking to strangers. But, ask one clear question at a time and don't try to sound smart or just be specific about what you want. And you should get a clear answer. If you want to learn AI the real way without any hype or pressure, stick around. I'll share a lot of what I've learned and everything I'm still learning. With that, I'm out.